There may be more good things going on in this abundant universe of ours than our conscious attitude may be able to integrate, because our minds are evolved to focus on the problematic, and even on an evolutionary basis, our brains are understandably wired to focus more on threats and difficulties than on rewards and good things that don't require our attention. It's quite simple that, if a monkey misses one banana, there'll be more bananas. But if it misses one predator, there may be no more of anything. And so we tend to focus on the problematic areas, and that's why, and same with the news. The news has to focus on wars and shootings and things like that. Those are considered newsworthy. If people had a fantastic picnic with their family, that's real too, but it doesn't make the news, and justifiably so, because there's nothing that people need to do about that, or don't necessarily need to know about it. But in the aggregate, we do need to know that there is a lot of good things going on, in addition to the more newsworthy bad ones. And so for example, it's been pointed out by Steven Pinker especially that, that right now we have the lowest per capita war death rate in human history and prehistory. And, your odds of being killed in war were far greater as a young man in a rainforest tribe than even in the bloody 20th century. And yet, from the news headlines, you would think that the world is, as people always seem to think, is going to hell in a handbasket. And yet we're kind of still, as my late colleague Terence McKenna put it, in the Tea Party before the end of the world, in that there's less violence, and that there's less hunger, and there's more affluence than there ever has been ever before, at least in 2024. Who knows what's coming? Happiness does not depend on outward things, but on the way we see them. Tolstoy said that. Despite all the difficulties and hardships of existence, this is an abundant universe. Put quotation marks around the voices in your head that are endlessly worried about the scarcity of money, resources, opportunities, romantic partners, etc. Look up at a clear night sky and think about how much real estate is out there. Approximately 100 billion stars in just our galaxy. And according to estimates in 2023, approximately 2 trillion galaxies. And there are physicists who think our universe is just a tiny bubble in an ever-expanding foam of multiverse. The universe has created 50 trillion cells just to sheath you in a corporeal body for this one difficult incarnation where apparent scarcity and other hardships are part of the abundance of developmental forces. My friend Rob Breszny wrote a book entitled Pronoia. According to the book, Pronoia is a term coined in the mid-1970s by Grateful Dead lyricist and co-founder of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, John Perry Barlow, who defined it as the opposite of paranoia, the suspicion that the universe is a conspiracy on your behalf. It is easy to view life as a catastrophe we can head off only by a white-knuckled grip on our body, money, possessions, and relationships. But maybe your life is more of a eucatastrophe than a catastrophe. And from Wikipedia, eucatastrophe, and that's just spelled like catastrophe but with an EU in front of it, is a term coined by J.R.R. Tolkien that refers to the sudden turn of events at the end of a story that result in the protagonist's well-being. He formed the word by affixing the Greek prefix eu, meaning good, to catastrophe, the word traditionally used in classically inspired literary criticism to refer to the unraveling or conclusion of a drama's plot. It could be said that the ending of The Lord of the Rings is a eucatastrophe. Though victory seems assured for Sauron, the One Ring is destroyed beyond all hope. Essentially, a bad situation suddenly turns good. And then you can find some very related documents in the footnotes of this card.